Hey guys, welcome in. Have you ever wanted to regrow a really great mushroom you found at the grocery store? Mushrooms are so mysterious that it often seems dauntless to even consider regrowing them on your own. However, many edible mushrooms can be regrown easily with a little insight and technique. If you enjoy mushrooms as much as we do and want to try cultivating them at home, then this video is for you. And always do your own research. Okay, let's get started. In this episode, we are discussing the mushroom fruiting body. Once your spawn has been fully colonized by your clean mycelium, the next stage is fruiting. The final stage being maturation and sporulation. The environmental settings of the fruiting environment is always dependent upon the strain or species. Warmer climate for colonization and cooler for fruiting, but that's not always the case. Often a cool, damp cave-like setting is perfect. Inducing fruiting. So now you want to help induce fruiting to your mushroom grain spawn. The style of fruiting is dependent on the species. These three methods are most common. A casing layer, which simulates how mushrooms grow across the ground or manure. B, mixing your grain spawn with substrate, similar to A, to simulate a flat garden in a controlled environment. And C, using master's mix, which is a wood-based substrate to help simulate the growth on wood or the side of a tree. Casing layer. A casing layer is what we prefer in a home garden. To help induce fruiting, we will be adding what is commonly called a casing layer. By adding a thin layer to the top of our mycelium, we create a microclimate to induce pinning, the first stage of fruiting. Occasionally, you can miss the mushroom, but beware of too wet in a fruiting condition. Rot happens quick. Water droplets also create microclimates for pinning. Light and moist is preferred. Field capacity is a common mycological term which means just enough water is absorbed. A cool, damp environment is preferred by many species. A damp cave is actually ideal with conditions somewhere between 55 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Some species like a warmer climate to fruit, somewhere between 65 and 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The environment is species-specific, so do your own research. Mix with substrate. A common home method is to add grain spawn to a flat garden or a fruiting bin. The latter is commonly called a monotub. Start by creating a semi-sterile environment, such as a clean plastic tote with a dark plastic lining across the bottom and up some of the sides. The liner serves two purposes: to keep the substrate clean from contaminants on the bin or tote and, but more importantly, to promote vertical growth above the substrate line. Light is what really helps create direction in mycelium growth, so pinning alongside plastic walls is not always preferred. Next, combine your grain spawn with a substrate mix of your choice. Spread the mixture evenly across the liner for an even flush. Moisten and replace the lid. Peek inside only when necessary and store for 3 to 4 weeks in an environment that has a directional light source. Mist is needed, but be mindful of moisture levels in the environment. A clean layer of plastic film can help induce pinning for some species. Lay it across the top of your substrate. This simulates a casing layer to induce pinning. Once pinning has started, remove the film. Some species respond well to this method. After full colonization, the mushrooms fruit rather quickly. Cut the flush as they mature, and often a new flush will start after a clean water drench. Substrate recipe. Many substrate recipes exist. Use your favorite substrate mix with your favorite addendum. Species identification is always a factor. Often equal parts vermiculite and peat work just fine. Manure or gypsum are common addendum. Mix your substrate and grain spawn at a ratio of 1 to 2. Always keep everything clean, but completely sterile is not totally necessary for fruiting. Fruiting is much like growing outside in nature. Master's mix. Typically, the recipe used for a wood lover's species is commonly referred to as master's mix, which is equal parts soybean and wood pellets. Sterile plastic grain bags are preferred. Remember, colonization is much slower for these species, so be patient. But finally, after a full colonization and signs of pinning has started, you would then slice the sides of your grain bags to encourage a directional outlet for fruiting. Wood lovers like to grow sideways, so consider them omnidirectional. Perfect for lion's mane or oyster mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms grow fine on master's mix, but are famous for fruiting on inoculated hardwood logs. A jar can be used for master's mix. You would then want to gently slide your fully colonized mass out of your jar and introduce it to a clean environment for it to grow omnidirectional from the puck. Wide-mouth jars are preferred. Agar work through spawn colonization should always be done in sterile lab conditions. Fruiting, however, is often less stringent. Usually a clean, moist environment works just fine, and pasteurization or sterilization is adequate. Mushrooms grow and fruit in nature, but can be successfully cultivated in a controlled environment. Many outdoor gardeners prefer the classic champignon mushrooms alongside their other vegetables. Wood piles can be inoculated to add wood lovers to a garden too. Some easy mushroom strains for small house or apartment growers are piapino, seafood, clamshell, or king trumpet. Most mushrooms from champignon to cordyceps can be cultivated under the right conditions. As your home mushroom science progresses, you'll see just how responsive mushrooms are to clean, lab-style environments. Check us out next time as we dive deeper and deeper into more and more mushrooms. Thanks for watching, guys, and keep spawning more cultures.